This is Father Andrew Ritchie, and you're listening to Catholic Inspiration, a podcast from my website at studyprayserve.com. These homilies, presentations, and retreats form part of my ministry as a Catholic priest for the Diocese of Superior. And now I invite you to open your hearts to some Catholic inspiration. Today is Wednesday of the first week of the year. Our gospel reading is Mark chapter 1, verses 29 to 39. On leaving the synagogue, Jesus entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. They immediately told him about her. He approached, grasped her hand, and helped her up. Then the fever left her, and she waited on them. When it was evening, after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons. The whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases. He drove out many demons, not permitting them to speak because they knew him. Rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place where he prayed. Simon and those who were with him pursued him, and on finding him said, "Everyone is looking for you." He told them, "Let us go on to the nearby villages, that I may preach there also. For this purpose have I come." So he went into their synagogues, preaching and driving out demons throughout the whole of Galilee. All right, so the earthly ministry of Jesus now is expanding and exploding as people are hearing about him. You have here Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John. So you've got the first four. They're hanging with Jesus. Jesus does this miracle, heals Simon's mother-in-law. And then the word just explodes. It's at night, the work day is done, and everybody's bringing everybody to this miracle worker, this Jesus. And so the sick and those possessed by demons are being cured and healed. It's amazing. It's powerful. It's very active. It's very busy. But then note what happens. Rising very early before dawn, what does Jesus do? He goes to a quiet place, a deserted place, and he prays. So he had all the busyness the day before, that night, and then early the next morning, Jesus gets up early to pray. And when people start looking for him, he says, okay, time to get busy somewhere else. We're going to go to the nearby villages. It's important to get this sense of what's going on. Busy activity, quiet prayer. Lots of energy, deserted place to be alone, a little solitude to pray and be still. And then get right back out to go out to other places to preach, drive out demons, and teach. Now, when you look at this, friends, that's a powerful pattern for our own lives. A powerful way by which we too might engage the world. That here you have Jesus very active, very busy, and the people are flocking to him. It's not like this is an orderly procession. People are desperate because they have loved ones who are hurting. So there's this frantic activity, this frenzy about Jesus. But underneath it, the quiet stillness of prayer. The prayer fuels the soul so that then the mind and the body and that soul can go out into the world and serve. And out of that service, that leads to the reflection time to pray in the stillness. It's kind of almost like, two lungs working together in sequence, right? Where breathing in and exhaling and flowing back and forth, that you need these two forces working in tandem in our lives. The time for activity, the time for stillness and solitude. To be serving God's people, to be praying to God. To take time to be active and engaged, to take time to be withdrawn and reflective. We need both. Now, there are times in life that get real busy. There are times that we might have a little more flexibility to be still and quiet. But the point here to reflect on today in light of this particular passage is, where do we see these elements in our life right here, right now? Where do I see the opportunities for service? For action? Where do I see the possibilities with people around me to engage in my family, in my friendships, in my neighborhood, in my community? How can I be involved? How can I make an offering of my life in a tangible way? But then the other side to it is, Where do I find the time for stillness, quiet, solitude, and prayer? To be able to calm everything down and have that focus, to take a little bit of time to do that with the Lord. I know in my own life that I have to do that in the morning, first thing before the world wakes up. If I don't do that right around that 5 to 6 o'clock period of time in the morning, it just doesn't happen. Life gets busy in my world as a parish priest. And I know that once I set foot outside, I'm going to get drawn into the whirlpool of activity. And I like that. I like being busy for Jesus. But if I don't have that morning prayer time, that busyness loses its focus. We pray to be able to engage the world. Our engagement with the world gives us all sorts of things to bring to prayer. It works in a cycle and a sequence. And so today, where do you find your time to pray in stillness? That daily prayer that becomes the bread and butter of our spiritual life. And where do you see the opportunities to serve? It changes through time. But to reflect on that here and now is to invite the Lord into our lives and ask the Lord to help to continue to guide us, both in the stillness and in the activity. God bless you all. This is Father Andrew, and I hope this podcast inspires your faith. Now, if you found it helpful, please share it with a friend. And you can help me by leaving a rating and a review. I keep all my listeners in my daily prayers, and I ask for your prayers in return. God bless you, my friends.